He was a man trusted more than banks. People handed over their savings, inheritances, pensions, and charitable funds. Money that had been accumulated over decades passed into his hands without hesitation. And when the truth finally came out, it turned out that around $65 billion had vanished. His name was Bernard Madoff. And this was the largest financial pyramid scheme in human history. Bernard Madoff was born in 1938 in New York City, in the borough of Queens, into a middle-class family. His parents were children of immigrants from Eastern Europe. His father worked as a plumber, his mother as a bookkeeper. It was an ordinary American family with no connections to the financial elite. Nothing in his childhood suggested that he would become the central figure in the greatest financial fraud of the century. Madoff studied at Hofstra University, where he majored in political science. Later, he enrolled in law school, but never completed his degree. At the age of 22 in 1960, he founded his own company, Bernard L. Madoff Investment Securities. The initial capital amounted to only a few $1,000s, part of which he earned working as a lifeguard on the beach, and part of which he borrowed from his family. At first, the company was engaged in a completely legitimate brokerage business. It executed stock buy and sell orders for clients and earned standard commissions. In the 1960s and 1970s, Madoff was not a star of Wall Street, but he quickly built a reputation as a disciplined, reliable, and technologically forward-thinking financier. In the 1980s, his firm became one of the pioneers of electronic securities trading. Madoff was among the first to use computer systems to execute trades more efficiently. His business worked closely with major banks and investment funds. He did not play the role of an aggressive trader. He appeared to be someone who simply understood the system well. In the 1990s, his reputation reached its peak. Bernard Madoff became chairman of the NASDAQ stock exchange, one of the key financial institutions in the United States. This was the moment that completely erased any doubts among investors. People thought simply, if this man had run NASDAQ, he physically could not be a fraud. The system trusted him with an entire exchange. That meant he could be trusted with everything. It was at this point that the most dangerous part of the story began. Alongside the legitimate brokerage business, there existed another almost invisible operation within Madoff's company, an investment division accessible only to a select group. It offered clients an investment strategy that appeared nearly perfect. Madoff promised stable annual returns of 10 to 12%, no sharp rises, no deep losses, regardless of what was happening in the market. In years when stock markets were soaring, his returns were slightly below average. But when markets were falling, his clients still posted gains. This consistency appeared to be the ultimate sign of reliability. The key detail was that Madoff did not accept everyone. Getting access to him was considered a privilege. Sometimes he personally rejected potential clients, claiming the fund was full. This created scarcity and further strengthened trust. People didn't just want to invest, they wanted to be part of a closed circle. His clients included major charitable foundations, banks, investment companies, Hollywood actors, European aristocrats, pension funds, and university endowments. Funds recommended him to other funds. Financial advisors passed clients to one another. Money flowed in endlessly. In reality, no investment strategy existed at all. Bernard Madoff was running a classic Ponzi scheme. New money was used to pay earlier investors. No real trades were executed. Transactions never went through exchanges. Counterparties did not exist. Client statements were created manually using outdated software designed to mimic market activity. The system functioned for decades for several reasons. Markets were generally rising. Clients rarely withdrew all their funds at once. And most importantly, Madoff had a flawless reputation within the financial system. For nearly 20 years, several analysts openly stated that Madoff's results were mathematically impossible. The most well-known among them was financial analyst Harry Markopolos. As early as 1999, he submitted a detailed report to the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission directly calling Madoff's business the largest Ponzi scheme in the world. He filed complaints again and again, at least 6 times in total. But regulators conducted superficial investigations and repeatedly found no sufficient evidence. Madoff knew how the system worked. He knew what to show. And he was considered one of their own. The first serious cracks appeared in 2008. During the global financial crisis, markets were collapsing, investors panicked, and began withdrawing their money en masse. Within a short period, clients demanded more than $7 billion in cash. The money simply wasn't there. In December 2008, Bernard Madoff confessed to his sons that it was all one big lie. They informed the authorities. The next day, Madoff was arrested in his Manhattan apartment. The investigation revealed the true scale of the disaster. The total claimed losses amounted to approximately $65 billion. Actual cash losses reached tens of billions. More than 4,000 investors across over 40 countries lost their money. Some charitable organizations went bankrupt. Many retirees lost everything they had saved over decades. In 2009, the court found Bernard Madoff guilty on all charges. He was sentenced to 150 years in prison, the maximum possible term. He died in prison in 2021. The Madoff family was completely destroyed. One of his sons died by suicide, another died of cancer. This was not only a financial catastrophe, it was a human tragedy. This story is not about innovation, not about new markets, and not about groundbreaking technology. It is a story about trust that turned out to be more expensive than any amount of money. Bernie Madoff did not sell profits. He sold a sense of safety. And when that sense disappeared, billions vanished with it. This collapse became a warning to the entire financial world. If returns look too stable to be true, sooner or later, someone will pay for that illusion.